Discovering Asian dramas back in 2018 was an enlightening moment for me, and I've never looked back. I enjoy talking about them just as much as watching them, so much so that I decided to create a podcast with a heavier focus on Chinese dramas but passing through Korean, Japanese, Thai and Filipino dramas. Welcome to the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast, your corner for drama talking. For more tea and soju content, consider joining Patreon, where I release extra reviews and polls. Everything is linked in the episode description. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and in this week's episode, we're going back into the genre series where I basically take a genre and talk about some of my favorite dramas within that genre. Now, there is a little special thing about this one. It's the fact that actually my patrons over on Patreon got to choose which genre I talked about this week, and the one that came up on top was the BL genre. Now, I think BL could be classed as like I don't know if it's like classed as a genre or if it's classed as, just a type of drama in general, but I thought it would still be suitable. And actually, thinking about it, this episode is going to come out in June, which is Pride Month, so I feel like it kind of suits that. And, if I can shed some light on some good BL dramas, or at least BL dramas that I enjoy, and get some more people watching those, then I would be quite happy with that. And so how this episode's going to work is the first part of the episode. Now, I am by no means an expert at all, so I kind of went and looked for some articles as well as, just some information about BL and kind of like where it started, or not where it started, but, where it became popular, that sort of thing. And I have all of that written down. I have extracted some bits from the articles. I will link everything that I've used and quoted from in the episode notes, and the episode notes will be linked in the in the episode description, so you can access all of that, and also you can have the links to the full descriptions as well, full articles that I quote from. So that will be the sort of like first part. And then the second part, I'm just going to run through 6 of my favorite BLs. And 6 is because I have tried to choose one per, Asian country that I watch dramas from, if that makes sense. So that's why it's 6. And then to wrap up the episode, I asked a friend of mine to kind of send in a voice note to talk about some of her favorites, because she watches a heck more of BL more than I do. So I thought it would be quite fun for you guys to hear from somebody else, and just to get some different different suggestions going on in the episode. So that's how the episode's going to be structured, and that is basically it. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you like content like this, or if you would like to support the podcast a bit more, Patreon is there available for you. And as of right now, Patreon is doing something where it offers a 7-day free trial, so you guys can go in, check out the content that I put out there, and see if it's something that you would like to subscribe to monthly. I just really appreciate all my patrons, and yeah, thank you so much to you guys. You are, I really appreciate the fact that you guys subscribe over there. That is always linked in the description notes, along with all the socials and all of that, so please do follow me. I do like first impressions and stuff over on Instagram, and also there is Twitter and all of those accounts. So if you ever want to come and chat dramas, please do. I'm always more than happy to hear from you guys. Or if you've got a suggestion and you think, I think this would be a good episode for Tea and Soju, then, let me know. I've actually just posted something about that because the podcast is soon approaching its 1 year anniversary, and I'm still thinking what to do for that, 1 year anniversary episode. But if you guys have any suggestions, because I will be taking a little break after the 1 year, and then I will come back straight after that with, just taking some time to sort of like plan the next year of episodes and whatnot. So yeah, that is all on my Instagram, which is linked in the description. If not, just leave a little comment or subscribe to the podcast. That always helps to reach out to other listeners. So that is it. That is everything. I just have one little disclaimer. Like, I am no expert by any means. So I did some research, and if I've gotten anything wrong at all, or if you feel like there's some more information that I should talk about, please feel free to correct me. I tried my best to sort of like look at some articles and kind of talk about, go from there. So hopefully, you guys can learn something. I definitely did. And I actually came across some really, really interesting articles that I came from, and we're just going to jump right into the episode. So the first one that I want to mention in terms of articles that I came from is a description taken from the Japanese community in New York. It's like the header for the site, and again, that is all linked in the episode notes, so you guys can go and check out, because this one is a video panel, and it's, with a couple of people, and it's titled "Boys Love: The History and Transformation of BL in Asia." It was a really, really interesting panel, and they have like a little description underneath the video, which I thought was really, really useful. And it reads as such: BL is a male romantic content originally created and marketed towards women by female manga artists in Japan to challenge gender and sexual norms in the 1970s. Over the years, BL has seen a tremendous growth in popularity and become a global phenomenon, expanding into media such as anime, prose fiction, live action dramas, and fan fictions. As BL became more popular in other parts of Asia, it has evolved uniquely in each Asian country, taking on new meanings and forms within their own cultures. So I find that really, really interesting. I didn't know that's sort of like where it originated, at least according to this article. I then kind of went and dug a little bit deeper, and it seems to be accurate. If you guys know more about it, please let me know. I'm super interested in knowing more, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's important to have not just BL out there, but good BL, because it helps with, what's the word I'm looking for, with inclusivity and on screen, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's something that needs to be more out there. So yeah, I actually went on Wikipedia because I wanted to dig in a little bit more, and Wikipedia does sometimes help us pretty well. So on Wikipedia, there's a description, and it's for the word yaoi, which I'm hoping I'm pronouncing correctly. So it is a Japanese word, and it's also known as boys love, and its abbreviation BL is a genre of fictional media originating in Japan that features homoerotic relationships between male characters. It is typically created by women for women, and is thus distinct from bara gay manga, a genre of homoerotic media marketed to gay men. Though yaoi does also attract a male audience and can be produced by male creators. Yaoi spans a wide range of media, including manga, anime, drama, CDs, novels, video games, television series, films, and fan works. While yaoi is commonly used in the West as an umbrella term for Japanese influenced media with male-male relationship, boys love and BL are the generic terms for this kind of media in Japan and much of Asia. Now, I found this really interesting because it never occurred to me, and this might sound silly to you guys, but it never occurred to me that BL was created for women by women, if that makes sense, because I don't know why it didn't occur to me. But once I started looking at these descriptions, descriptions, and coming across, descriptions like these where it's commonly found saying that, BL tends to be created by women for women. I was like, it makes sense. I'm hoping that can be changed in a sense. Well, I don't necessarily mean the whole genre to be changed, but I just hope that there can be more, almost like stories, normal stories that are told through, K-dramas, C-dramas, whatever it may be, but in, BL form. And I mean that in the case of representation, where you see just, whether it be two men, two women, whatever it may be, just doing their daily lives and just being shown they are just like everybody else. I feel like that's really important for the community, and to see them being represented correctly within the form of media that they choose to consume. So, it is at the end of the day all about representation and inclusivity, and I feel like everyone's entitled to that. So I feel like there's been a shift, especially in the last couple of years, from these, more wackier BLs to these more calm, softer day-to-day BLs. And of course, we still have those completely out there BL dramas, but I feel like there's more and more where you just watch people being people and loving. And I think that's really important to see on screen, if that makes sense. I am I really want to talk about this, just BL and enjoying BL. But I'm also so worried that I will missay something or, treat this in a way that will offend somebody. And I feel like that, maybe I shouldn't, I'm just going on a bit of a tangent now, but I am trying to be careful, because I don't want this episode to ever, come across as, me offending or whatever it may be. So hopefully it's all good, and you guys, if it isn't, please let me know. I'm more than happy to learn, So, yeah, that is the Wikipedia kind of description of it, and, just going a little bit further into the Japanese words used for it. And I came across another article, which I found really, really interesting. And again, I have linked it in the episode, notes, so you can look at those and read, because I've only quoted some parts of the article. And yeah, so because I feel like, although from everything that I'm coming across, and oh my God, I'm having a brain freeze today, clearly. Cannot talk. But anyways, everything that I sort of came across in terms of articles and whatnot is that, BL kind of originated in Japan. But I feel like it's Thailand that now has really grabbed the market. And when you think of BL, you kind of, at least for me anyways, when I think of BL, I tend to go towards Thailand. And while I was looking through my list, it turns out that a lot of the BL that I consume comes from Thailand. So I feel like that's why my perception of that works that way. And I came across an article that read this, I extracted this text from, and it says, mention BL dramas and many would immediately think of Thailand, the current forerunner of the genre, surpassing even Japan, which popularized yaoi through manga. In 2022, the popularity of Thai BL dramas, also known as Y series, exploded, with the release of shows such as Not Me, Kinporsche, and Triage. The hashtag Kinporsche Episode 1 trended 5th worldwide on the day of its premiere, with the drama earning first place in various countries with its subsequent episodes. The BL genre allows gay relationships to be a central plot, rather than just include a gay best friend for the sake of representation or comedic relief. Thailand is currently considered one of the best producers of BL dramas, with shows such as Together, Love by Chance, and Thun Type being one of the first BL dramas to gain international interest and garnering a female-dominated fan base. So, yeah, I found that really interesting, because these I did watch KinnPorsche, and guys, it is wild. Like, KinnPorsche was just one of those dramas where the story itself was wild. I feel like it's a mix of, I don't know, almost like a Lacorn, which is like this Thai telenovela, I would explain it in that way. Almost feels like a Lacorn, but BL version, and more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not crazier, but more out there, more, I don't know. But KinnPorsche was just a wild, wild ride. And I remember when it came out, everybody was watching it. Like, Twitter was going wild with this drama, and I really, really loved like that exploding of people watching BL at the same time. So yeah, that is definitely one that broke a lot of records and whatnot, and I'm happy for it. So yeah, that is, again, all of these links will be in the episode notes, which will be, in the episode description below. So if you want to, I highly recommend you guys go and read those out, because they are really, really good, interesting articles that I came across. And that video panel was also really interesting just to listen and learn a little bit more, because I feel like I'm a casual BL watcher. And by that, I mean, I watch a couple of episodes here and there, a couple of shows, not episodes, a couple of shows here and there. But I'm not like completely in the community, so I don't know all the dramas that come out and all of that. So I feel like during this episode, I actually learned a lot in terms of, where BL comes from and how it's kind of like grown over the years. And I feel like I just, I really enjoyed learning about it. Now, I would be remiss to not mention the, BL situation in China. Now, in China, you are not allowed to show anything, gay on screen. That will just not fly by censorship, unfortunately, because I still feel, representation is key, and unfortunately in much of Asia they're still quite behind. So unfortunately in China, BL is one of those things where they kind of have to do a lot of in between the lines. And even now they've tightened the grip so much that actually BL adaptations, by that I mean dramas that are coming from BL novels, which in theory shouldn't even exist in China, but they do. They are actually written under pseudonyms and whatnot, so people don't find out who the writers are, because otherwise there could be, repercussions on those writers. So it is a really, really tough subject to deal with within China. So yeah, that is, I don't know. Now, there is one drama that I absolutely love, but you won't hear me, talking about it in this episode, and that's for a very special reason, and that is the Chinese drama The Untamed. And when we mean, Chinese BL, what we mean by that is that it is adapted from, BL books, BL manga, whatever it may be. But you won't see, it's a type of BL where you won't see any kissing, you barely see, sometimes you might not even see any touching. It's a lot of like in between the lines. You have to read in between the lines. It is there, but it isn't like in your face. There's nothing. They're not going to be, the characters aren't going to go out and say, we're going out, we're together. That's never going to happen. They're always going to try and sell it to you as a bromance, as in two friends, as in, sworn brothers, that type of thing. But you can clearly see and read in between the lines. So yeah, that's the scenario. And again, I absolutely love The Untamed, but that is reserved for something special that's upcoming. So that is why I won't be mentioning that one as my, Chinese BL adaptation, simply because you guys will find out eventually. So yeah, that I haven't forgotten it. I have watched it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I thought I would just mention that. And that is kind of like the information I just wanted to mention at the beginning of the episode, just learning a little bit more about the BL as a genre and what, very, very surface level. Like, I didn't want to go too deep just because I'm not informed enough to be able to, go very deep. So hopefully you've learned something. I definitely have. So yeah, let's move on right along into the, my favorite BLs. These are just some. It was really hard to choose. It was really hard to choose a Thai BL and also a South Korean one, because the South Korean ones are really short. So I've watched quite a few of those. So yeah, from China, there is one that I really want to watch, but it's really hard. There's no subtitles anywhere. So if you guys out there are listening to this and you've watched the Chinese drama Guardian, please let me know where I can watch it with subtitles, because I have been wanting to watch it. I have some of the OST songs on my playlists and I cannot find this drama subtitled. And it's been one that I just want to watch, but I can't get a hold of. So the one that I actually went with for this episode is the Chinese drama Word of Honor, and that is from 2021. And basically the story, and this is the MDL description, it reads as: in order to leave the assassin organization, the Window of Heaven, the leader Zhou Zishu performs an obligatory departure technique, leaving him with 3 years left to live. He disguises his face and tries to live the remainder of his days as a drunkard, wandering the martial arts world. 3 months later, he meets the mysterious Wen Kexing, who immediately notices Zhou Zishu's facade. The two men grow closer when they get entangled in a conspiracy regarding the glazed armor, a protected legendary key to a powerful armory. Now, this drama stars Zhang Zihan as Zhou Zishu. Now, there was big controversy and Zhang Zihan has been cancelled within China. So actually, within China, it's really, really hard to get a hold of this drama. I believe it's probably been scrapped from most platforms. You can still get it internationally though. Anyways, I was so worried that this was going to be scrapped from international platforms as well that I actually ended up buying the DVDs for this drama. I have never bought DVDs for anything, but I own precisely 2 DVDs of dramas, and that is The Untamed and Word of Honor. And simply because I was really worried that it was just going to disappear from everywhere and I wouldn't be able to watch it again if I ever did. So yeah, that tells you how much I enjoy these dramas, but also how worried you should be as a BL adaptation lover for Chinese dramas, because they can very well just disappear. So yeah, that is that. So it stars Zhang Zihan, as I was saying, Gong Jun, also known as Simon Gong, as Wei Kexing, and it stars Zhu Yi as Gu Xiang. It also stars Asha Ma as Sao Wei Ning and Sun Shi Lun as Zhang Shangling. So that is the main cast. Now, this is 36 episodes of about 45 minutes, and I think a lot of people watch this. Now, also, when you tend to have BL adaptations for Chinese dramas, they tend to be period set, and by period set I mean a lot of them tend to be set in mystical worlds of such, just because you could probably get away with a little bit more within those worlds. So yeah, this one is done, there is a very beautiful wigs and good costumes, so I was in it for that. I absolutely loved that. But also the chemistry between Zhang Zihan and Gong Jun was just so good. And there was a lot, so I was watching the drama on air and there was a lot that I was missing out, and actually it was really lucky that a lot of content creators for Chinese dramas are explaining a lot in terms of this drama uses a lot of poetry to get messages across in terms of these two being together. And there's scenes so basically there's a cut sleeve, and that in the, ancient times, from what was explained to me from another content creator, is depicted of a gay man. So there's little signs like that just spread throughout this whole drama, whether it be the use of poetry lines, whether it be the use of imagery. And I'm I have no idea how this got past censorship, because they tend to be a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more stricter. I mean, there's a rule such as that men can't be too feminine. That is an actual rule for censorship. So, you know, you guys can tell a lot just from that alone. So yeah, I loved it. I love the fact of how they managed to work a lot of imagery and a lot of things in between the lines. And there's just scenes that are just done so beautifully. There's this one scene that I watched this in 2021, so, you know, 2 years ago, because this aired in February 2021, so more than 2 years ago. And to this day, there's still like images that I can remember from it. One of them is this beautiful scene, and I think it's either episode 2 or 3, so it's very, very early on, of Wei Kexing and Zhou Zishu, so the two male leads, Zhang Zihan and Gong Jun, and they kind of have like this fight scene, and it's almost like this give and take, and it's on the water, and it's beautiful. It's done so, so beautifully. I can vividly remember that scene. So yeah, I absolutely love this drama. I remember so many of us were watching it and like rooting for the drama, and like a little bit worried that this wasn't going to go to the end because it blew up and it became so big, which obviously catches even more the attention of censorship. So, and of people in government and whatnot. So luckily it did make it through. Again, I feel like it's been scrapped in a lot of Chinese in China. It's been scrapped in a lot of places simply because of the whole Zhang Zihan scandal. But, you know, like I said, I bought the DVD. I was like, I am not risking not being able to watch this. It'll be interesting in a couple of years because I'm guessing that these dramas are like licensed internationally. And, you know, they're probably only licensed for a certain amount of time. So it'll be interesting to see whether they will be scrapped from international platforms as well or not. But yeah, so for China, that is my pick. It's Word of Honor. Again, I also love The Untamed, but for reasons, I am leaving The Untamed out. There is something for The Untamed coming, so that's why I'm leaving that one out for this one and choosing to go with Word of Honor. Now, next up, I have a BL from the Philippines, and actually, I was looking through my drama list, and this was my first ever BL. So this is a 2020 drama. It aired on May 22nd, 2020, and it is the drama Game Boys. And basically, the description reads, teenage streamer Cairo is caught off guard when he receives a video call from a new online rival called Gavril. He is even more surprised when the handsome stranger asks him out. Can two gamers make romance work during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, or will it be a game over on their love story? So the cast for this is Kokoy de Santos as Gavril Alacon, Elijah Colors as Cairo Lazaro, and Adriana Saw as Pearl. This is 13 episodes of 22 minutes, and there is a second season. But I haven't been able to find the second season available internationally. It may be now. I haven't checked in a while. So maybe I should. But if you guys have watched the second season, let me know where, and let me know whether it's worth watching or not. Because, you know, I don't know. Second seasons can sometimes not be as good. So I don't know if I should dig into the second season or if I should just stay with my love for the first one. But what I really, really loved about this drama, it's the fact that most of it is recorded on kind of webcams and that, because they kind of meet while gaming and they have this back and forth together. And, you know, a lot of them is doing it, you know, through streaming, and because it's COVID-19 lockdown, everybody was inside, and, you know, a lot of their relationship is passed online. And I was glued to the screen watching these two kind of develop this relationship in a situation where they couldn't meet because COVID-19 lockdown. So this happened in the middle of the pandemic, and it was being recorded in that way. And I just really, really enjoyed it because it was the kind of situation that at that time, everybody was kind of going through. Like, we couldn't go out and meet friends and we couldn't do any of that. So it was really, really interesting to watch. I think it was done really, really well. And also, these two together, like, Gavril and Cairo, are just so freaking adorable. They're complete opposites, but they work so well together. So yeah, and also I had to add in Adriana Saw as Pearl, because Pearl is such a good character, and actually she got her own spin-off. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed her. She's like the best friend that everybody should have because she's just so supportive and so much fun to be around. So yeah, I really, really loved her as well in this. So yeah, that is my my Filipino choice for BL, and that is Game Boys. So, swiftly moving along, and we are stopping off in Taiwan for my next choice. And for Taiwan, I did have a couple of choices, not too many. I haven't watched too many from Taiwan, but the one that I had to go with is called We Best Love Number One for You. Now, I have not only watched this one, but I've also watched the second season, and I have watched, all the little spin-offs and whatnot. And the first season still stands as the best one for me. I mean, the second one is okay, but for me, the first season packs the most punch. And yeah, without, let's just get into the description. And it reads, it is not a simple thing to like someone because many times we dare not say anything. If first place is the only way to make you see me, then I will never lose to you before you fall in love with me. Zhu Shuyi shared at the class report and saw Gao Shidi's name above him again. He didn't understand. He had always ranked second ever since Gao Shidi came into his life. For this reason, he was excited to go to college and parted ways. He hoped to never see Gao Shidi again. In college, he joined the swimming club and was revered by everyone. He was happily enjoying college life until Gao Shidi suddenly appeared at the swimming competition during their senior year. This made him wonder why Gao Shidi always followed him wherever he went. But little did he know that Gao Shidi had eyes for him and would never let him go. Basically, I feel like this description isn't that great. But basically, it's two guys. They go to the same school, and basically, the Zhou Shuyi has always been like ranked first and whatnot, but then Gao Shidi comes in and he kind of like takes over the first rank. What he doesn't realize is that Gao Shidi actually likes him, and he's just trying to like approach him, but Zhou Shuyi is just like basically now he's annoyed that somebody has come in and taken his like number one spot. Then they kind of like go to college and he's thinking, oh, I don't have to deal with him again. But actually they meet back up in college. And it's really interesting. They go kind of like head to head on the swimming team. And it's kind of like these enemies to lovers story, which I'm a fan of. I really do enjoy it, that type of trope where it's like two competitors going head to head and actually they end up falling in love. What I really really enjoyed about this drama, it's not very long. It's 6 episodes of about 13 minutes, but again, it actually packs a lot of punch in those 6 episodes, especially the actor. So under MDL, he is only known as Yu. That is the only name that it's like mentioned. And basically, his acting was really, really good. He had this very, very high emotional scene in, I think it is in season 1, and you're like, oh my god, and the tension between these two was just crackling. It really, really was. So I absolutely loved that. There's like quite a few like other couples within the drama, but for me, the selling point and the high point of this drama is this main couple. There's just like this energy between them, this chemistry, and it just makes the drama work so well. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. That's the Taiwanese, that's my Taiwanese choice, and again, that's called We Best Love, #1 for you. That is season 1. There is a couple of other seasons. Again, season 1 for me still like peak, but I also enjoyed the season 2 and like the spin-off specials. Now for South Korea, I kind of had like a little bit of a hard time choosing which one I wanted to go with for South Korea, simply because because they are shorter episode counts and like even shorter episode length, it kind of works really well, and I tend to watch quite a few more of those. Now the one that I absolutely love, and it is probably my like favorite South Korean like BL or short BL, is called Semantic Error, but I feel like that one blew up quite a bit, so I thought I would mention another one which kind of mashes BL with fantasy, and I really enjoyed it. My only problem with like South Korean BL in general is the fact that it's moving in the right direction, but I just cannot wait for the day where, the BL coming out of South Korea gets like a full season, even if it's just like, 8 episodes of an hour, as opposed to most of Korean BL tends to be like 8 episodes of 15 minutes, or 9 episodes or 10 episodes of 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It tends to be very, very short format, and that obviously sometimes doesn't allow for the story to really grow and develop fully. It can do a lot and it can work really well, especially for some stories, but others just kind of needs a little bit more, and that is so my choice for South Korea, again, it would have been Semantic Error, but I feel like that one was really big, so I decided to go with Color Rush, which is one of those that I just wish there was a little bit more to it in terms of like length, because it's a really intriguing story. So the MDL description reads as: monochromatic people known as monos live in a world where they are not able to see colors, and therefore view their surroundings through varying shades of grey, black and white. However, every mono has a fated person known as probes, who is able to trigger their grayscale world into colour, inducing what is termed as a colour rush. Yeon Woo is a mono. He's aware that other colours do exist, but has never experienced them for himself, nor was he interested in doing so. However, Yeon Woo's life is forever changed when he meets Johan, his probe, and experiences his first colour rush. Terrified that he would be obsessed with Johan because of Johan's ability to make him see colours, Yeon Woo tries to avoid Johan, but why does Johan insist on drawing close to him? So I feel like this is such an intriguing plot that, regardless of it being a BL or not, I feel like it's a really, really, really interesting, idea. And I've never really watched anything quite like it. So I was so intrigued when this came around. And I was really excited to watch it. And I loved it. I really, really did. Now, I really wish that it would have been longer, because this is only 8 episodes of 15 minutes and there's like quite a bit of story to get into. So I wish it had been like slightly longer. And also, so the cast is Yoo Jun as Choi Yoon Woo and Heo Hyun Jun as Go Yoo Han. Now, there is a second season for Color Rush. I will admit I did not watch it. They changed one of the actors up, and I was like, I didn't really want to go into season 2 because, there had been that actor change, and I was like, I fully bought into this couple in the first season, so I didn't necessarily want to go and watch somebody else in that, slot. So that's why I haven't watched, season 2 for this, but I just feel like it was, a little bit of fantasy, and it was like not that much, because all that there is to it is kind of like this idea of fated lovers, and it just so happens to be BL. But again, I thought it was a really, really interesting concept. Again, it could have been done maybe better if there was more time allowed for that. But yeah, that is my pick for South Korea, just because I feel like it's so different to anything I had watched within BL. So yeah, that is a Color Rush. And, you know, with a side shout out to Semantic Error, because I just absolutely loved Semantic Error. I feel like it was such a cute episode, you know, drama. You know, enemies to lovers. I'm a sucker for good enemies to lovers. So, yeah, that brings me to Thailand. And my gosh, I had such a hard time to choose. I almost went with my recent A Boss and a Babe, but I feel like I talked about that one once I finished it up in my currently watching, like, recently finished episode, and I've been talking about it for a little bit, so I was like, I will choose something else, and the one that I went with is the Thai drama Lovely Writer, and the MDL description for it reads, Jin is a professional writer whose publisher suggests he try his hand at a new genre. Why? So by why, they mean like BL. The resulting novel is a huge commercial success. So successful, in fact, that it's being adapted for TV. When the series began casting, Jin is invited to auditions where he can be consulted. He's not really concerned about any of the actors until he meets Nupsib, who right from the start shows open admiration for Jin. Will Jin accept Nupsib's love? What will it lead to? So basically this guy is like struggling a little bit in like his writing career, and his publisher just kind of like, just try your hand at BL. Turns out he's really good at writing BL, and his books became, like, his mangas, is it the right word? Basically, his books became really, really popular, and they're being adapted into TV, and then, like, a little romance kind of sparks between him and Nupsib, who is the actor who's going to act in his, in the adaptation of his books. So basically, there is that. I thought these two were so freaking adorable, and I know, like, I say that a lot, but there was also, like, really, like, emotional scenes within the drama that were portrayed really, really well by these actors. Now, I'm not gonna pronounce the whole name for the actors because I feel like I am going to butcher it so badly. So, Jin is played by Up and Nupsib is played by Kao. I will just say that because I don't want to butcher, like, Thai names are really difficult for me. So, and I don't want to butcher it, like, so badly. So, I will leave it at that. This drama aired on February 24th, 2021, and it is 12 episodes of about an hour and 5 minutes. Again, it is very easy watching. Even saying that, though, there's quite a few, heavy scenes. It's a lot of, like, self-discovery and whatnot, and I've really enjoyed all of that aspect. I thought Jin and Nupsib just worked really well together, so, yeah, that is my choice for Thailand, and it is the drama Lovely Writer. Which brings me to my very last drama for this episode, and that is, we're going to Japan, because I thought it would be appropriate to finish with the country that kind of, like, started it all, in a sense, or at least from the research that I did, everybody kind of says it came from there. So, I had a really, also, like, for Japan, I had quite a bit of a hard time choosing. I haven't watched that many from Japan, but the one, like, that my mind kept coming back to is this one, and it is pretty popular. I think most people, especially people that watch, BL regularly, they will know about this one, and it is called Cherry Magic, 30 Years of Virginity Can Make You a Wizard, which I just feel like it's one of those titles that is a little bit insane, but it kind of sets the plot. It's kind of a little bit deceiving in a sense. So the MDL description reads, Adachi Kiyoshi is a regular salaryman who at the age of 29 was still a virgin. On his 30th birthday, he suddenly finds himself acquiring a new power, the ability to read other people's minds whenever he touches them. shocked and unnerved by this new ability, he struggles to cope. That is, until one day he accidentally touches the handsome and popular fellow office worker Kurosawa Yuchi, only to find out Kurosawa actually has a secret romantic feelings for him. How will Adachi cope with this new revelation? So basically, it's about this very, very shy guy who kind of gains this power to read other people's minds, and it's his journey, like finding himself and coming out of his shell. It's this very sweet romance, and also it kind of like scratches the surface of how people can like show an image, but how different they can be underneath. And yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it. It was really sweet, and it was kind of, yes, he does have this power to read minds, but if you take that away, it was kind of like just two people falling in love, and I really, really enjoyed that. I felt like, you know, it was a nice drama to watch. So yeah, this is the one that my mind kept coming back to when I was thinking about Japanese BL that I had watched, so I had to make it the one that I talked about. And for this one, the cast is Akazu Iji as Adachi Kiyoshi, and Mashada Keita as Kurosawa Yuchi, and this aired 9th of October 2020, and it is 12 episodes of 24 minutes, so not very long. It is a really nice, easy watch, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. That is it. That is my 6 BLs that I wanted to sort of like, you know, talk about. Again, I just really enjoyed all of them. They are all very different. There's some modern, there's some fantasy, there's a little bit of everything. I think the thing is, why I wanted to get my my friend in for this episode is the fact that all the ones, while I was, you know, making my list, a lot of the ones that I've watched are ones that are like, they were pretty big and they were pretty popular. So I wanted her to come in and kind of like suggest some other ones that, that basically are maybe less known. And the one that she does talk about is the one that I loved, but I'm going to let her basically talk about it because I feel like she does a very, very good job. And that is the Thai drama I Told Sunset About You. Very poignant story, very, very different BL to anything else out there. So, but she describes it and talks about it so beautifully that I think you guys will really enjoy listening to her. So, stick around for Kiki. She will be talking about her favorite BLs, and that'll be it. That is everything for this episode. Listen on for Kiki's suggestions, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Hello everyone, my name is Kiki, and if you are a member of the Asian Drama Watchers Discord group, you probably know that I watch quite a lot of BLs and I always enjoy talking about them. So when Liliana said she would do a podcast episode about BLs, I of course had to join in so that I can also share the BLs that I enjoy. So I want to talk about my absolute favorite BL, which is a Thai BL, but I also want to take some time at the end to mention other BLs that I really enjoy, and I'm going to group them into the different countries or languages, so Thailand, Japan, Taiwan, and Korea. But first I want to talk about my absolute favorite BL, which is called I Told Sunset About You. Now, I don't normally refer to it as a typical Thai BL because it's very different to your generic Thai BLs that you might have seen, which very often have some silly moments, over-the-top humor, and also those sound effects. So this Thai drama is very, very different. And usually I just refer to it as a Thai drama which happens to have a gay love story at its center. So first I want to give you a little bit of an idea about what this drama is about in case you have not seen it. It is a 5-episode Thai drama and it's also available on Viki. I think it was added quite recently. So the drama is about a love and also coming of age story about 2 boys, Tae and Oh Eyu, or simply Oh. living in Phuket who became best friends when they were quite young, maybe around 9 or 10 years old. They did everything together. They kind of had a passion for a specific Chinese drama that they were watching. But due to an argument, they actually stopped talking to each other for some years and even turned into rivals. So you could describe this story as an enemies to lovers. However, it has a little spin because they started off as friends. So I sometimes refer to it as a friends to enemies to friends to lovers. The story picks up when they are both in their final year of high school and preparing for the admission exam for university, both wanting to pursue the same career, namely acting. So of course there is some competition between them. And after years of no contact, they meet again at a tutoring class for Chinese language, and there's quite a lot of tension between them. However, this reunion slowly brings them back closer together, and they start talking about that argument from years ago, and they decide that they slowly want to try to be friends again. Knowing that Oh is struggling a lot more with Chinese language, Tae actually offers him extra tutoring. And the more time they spend together, the closer they become. And they both start to realize that there might be more between them than just friendship. So this is all that I'm going to say about the plot because I don't want to give away too much of a spoiler. But now I'm going to tell you all the different reasons why I love this drama so much. First of all, it is the title, I Told Sunset About You, which is actually the main reason why I wanted to watch this drama because, I don't know, it just sounded mysterious, it sounded poetic. I really wanted to know what the story is about. Also, the poster that goes with it is just absolutely beautiful. So I already had my hopes up that this would be a high quality drama, and I was definitely not disappointed. I just really love the title, and the sunset actually plays a role within the drama. So I quite like how the title is incorporated into the story. Now the story as such is fairly simple, so I just gave you a little bit of a rundown. As I said, you can describe it as a friends to enemies to friends to lovers. But at the same time, it has so many layers. And the more you watch it, you're actually going to notice more of those layers. I actually have seen it 4 times. So I actually spend a lot of time thinking about this, of course. But at the same time, the story is also very authentic. It is extremely honest and relatable. So the feelings that the boys are exploring and also trying to figure out who they are and what they want is just something that I think a lot of people can relate to one way or the other. And I think this is especially because of the incredible performance by these 2 young actors. You could really feel all their feelings. They just managed to convey all the emotions with their eyes, their facial expressions, but also the body language. So it was really top-notch in terms of acting. And actually everyone in that story is really, really interesting. So you have interesting side characters, for example, Tae's brother, and there's a scene between Tae and his brother a little bit later on in the story, which is absolutely amazing, like a really great scene. Another reason why I really love this drama is because it is full of symbolism and depth. For example, you have the Chinese characters and proverbs that they are learning through the tutoring lessons. And they carry a lot of meaning for them as individuals, but also for the relationship that they are developing. You also have the scent of coconut. So that is something that keeps reappearing. I'm not going to mention too much about it because you have to watch it to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the scent of coconut is also something that keeps coming back. The cinematography is also incredible, like generally visually absolutely amazing. And it uses a lot of warm colors, so orange and kind of yellow, and that brings back that idea of the sunset. And I think another reason why it looks visually so amazing is because it is set in Phuket. So we have really nice scenery. We have the old town of Phuket. So it's very different to most Thai BLs that are set in Bangkok. I actually saw a comment somewhere that said that almost every shot is Instagrammable, and I totally agree. It just looks absolutely amazing. And apart from that kind of sunset color scheme, we also have 3 other colors that are very dominant, which keep coming back, and those are blue, red, and purple. And again, they carry a lot of meaning. So apart from I Told Sunset being extremely pleasing to the eye, it is also something for your ears because it has an absolutely beautiful OST, and both the actors contribute to the soundtrack. The main title song keeps reappearing throughout the episodes, and there's also a scene where Tae and Oh are discussing that song, and they are discussing the lyrics, and it just really translates to the story that we see on screen. So it just works so well. Now, honestly, I could talk about this for hours. I could probably do a whole separate podcast episode on this, but that is not the purpose of my little waffling here. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this drama, and hopefully you feel inspired to watch it in case you have not seen it. But I also want to take this time to talk about the other BLs that I absolutely enjoy. I'm going to stick with I Told Sunset About You for another minute, because there is actually a second part, which is called I Promised You the Moon, which I also highly recommend. You can watch both of them in the same day. They should be available on Viki, I think, worldwide. So you start with I Told Sunset About You, and then you move on to I Promised You the Moon. I Promised You the Moon is a little bit different to I Told Sunset About You. You already noticed that in the color scheme, they use more bluish colors, but again, it is absolutely high quality, absolutely great in terms of acting. It is a really interesting story, and I think the highlights with I Promise You the Moon is the writing and the dialogues and the conversations. So I absolutely loved this second part. So I absolutely recommend you to watch both parts so you have the whole of the story of these 2 boys. So now I'm going to move on to the other Thai BLs that I really enjoy and want to recommend. The first one is called 180-Degree Longitude Passes Through Us. As you can see, once again, a very interesting, mysterious and poetic title. I really think I have a theme going on when it comes to selecting my BLs and my dramas in general. So this is an absolute great Thai drama, and here I would just recommend to listen to the podcast episode, which is called, I think, Best of 2022 OSTs, because I talk about that in relation to the OST. So you can just listen to that section about 180 Degree. It is an absolutely high quality drama, and I think it's something that I have not seen before. The way the story is told is absolutely brilliant. Moving on, the other Thai BL that I want to mention is a very recent Thai BL, and it's called Moonlight Chicken. And honestly, I never thought I would enjoy a drama with chicken in its title that much, but it is really, really great. So don't get put off by the chicken. Just try it out. It is really great. Again, high quality in terms of cinematography, great OST, great acting. It's much more of an ensemble cast, I would say. But also, like, every story and every character is really, really interesting. So I really recommend Moonlight Chicken. So now I'm going to move on to Japan. I'm just going to mention 2 Japanese BLs here. The first one is called Minato's Laundromat, and that is a little bit more of a fun Japanese BL. I mean, if you compare that to the ones I just mentioned, it's something completely different. It's a lot more lighthearted, even though it has a big age gap at its center of the story. which is something I feel like is reoccurring quite often in more recent BLs. And I feel like the way they handled the age gap in Minato's Laundromat was quite well done. So I really enjoyed this little Japanese BL. And then the other Japanese BL I want to mention is called The End of the World with You. And that is still ongoing. So I don't actually know how it's going to end. I really hope it's not going to be disappointing. I hope it's going to have a satisfying ending. But so far, I absolutely enjoy it. And if you would compare this one to Minato's Laundromat, there is quite a difference in tone and in vibe. The End of the World with You is a lot more serious. And it's just like a story that, I don't know, it kind of doesn't go the way that I thought it would go, but it is really, really interesting. So I'm actually looking forward to continuing this drama. And I think there are like 3 episodes left. And then I'm going to move on to Taiwan. I'm just going to mention one, and it's called DNA Says Love You, which is a cute little Taiwanese BL, which I quite enjoyed. And I think I liked it because it is different. So there is an element that I haven't really seen as much in BLs. And it is one of the reasons I quite enjoyed it, because it was different. I'm not going to mention it because that's too much of a spoiler. But yeah, I can recommend DNA Says Love You. And then finally, Korea. I'm also just going to mention one Korean BL, which is probably one of the most famous BLs in general, and definitely the most famous Korean BL. And it's also one of my absolute favorites because it's just so much fun. And it's called Semantic Error. So if you love the enemies to lovers trope, this is the drama for you. They have really great chemistry. It's a lot of fun. It has one of the best bickering ever. So Semantic Error is just a great Korean BL, or generally Korean drama. All right, I think that is it. I talked for way too long probably. But yeah, if you are a member of the Discord group, or you want to join and you want to talk more about BLs, you can always message me because I'm always up to talk about it. All right, I'm going to end at this point, and thank you very much for listening, and take care.
And that is it. That is everything for the episode. Again, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to Kiki for taking the time to record and talk about some of her favourite BLs. She watches quite a lot and she's way more versed in them than I am. So it was really, really good to hear from her and to hear some of, her favourites. So yeah, thank you again. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I hope I've done justice. I just thought, it's a genre that I really wanted to talk about, and hopefully I have done it well. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Everything is linked in the description notes. Go check out, the socials and whatnot. Come and chat to me. I'm always more than happy to talk dramas of any genre. Make suggestions, come and talk, if there's one BL that you guys really enjoyed that wasn't mentioned at all, let me know. I'm always up for growing my, plan to watch list. So yeah, that is everything. I hope you guys have a lovely week and life is treating you well in your corner of the world, and I shall see you next time. Bye. This has been another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and you can come and chat to me on Instagram, Tea and Soju Pod, all one word, and on Twitter, tea_soju_pod. You can also email me at teandsojupodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to support this podcast, please consider joining Patreon for extra content. Lastly, if you enjoy this podcast, please help by rating and reviewing wherever you listen to help others find this drama corner. I'll leave everything linked in the description notes. See you next time for more Asian drama chatter.